Welcome back! Isa na namang araw ng pag-aaral natin ng Mathematics at ito si Sir Garbo at ngayon mag-aaral naman tayo ng Polynomial Functions. Other than p of x, a polynomial function can also be denoted by f of x. Sometimes a polynomial function is represented by a set of p of ordered pairs, x, y. Okay? So, para ma-represent natin ang polynomial function, we can use p of x. We can also use f of x. And since it's a function, we can also use y. Okay? These are examples. Polynomial functions, we have 4x squared equals to p of x. Okay? So, polynomial function din yan. Pwede mong i-arrange para maging p of x equals to 4x squared using symmetric property. Then, we have y equals to 5 raised to 2/3 over 4x raised to 47. Okay, so that is still a polynomial function kahit merong fraction na exponent kasi nasa coefficient naman, numerical coefficient. Okay, then we have f of x equals to m raised to 5 plus 3m squared plus the square root of 3m minus 2. So, polynomial function pa rin yan kasi yung radical natin ay nasa coefficient na 3. Okay, so yung square root of 3, nandun yung radical sign. Okay, then ito yung mga hindi polynomial function. We have p of x equals to 6x raised to negative 2 dahil negative yung exponent ng x. We have 1 over x squared equals to 3y dahil yung x squared ay nasa denominator. Then we have f of x equals to the square root of x kasi yung variable natin na x ang may radical sign. So hindi sila polynomial function. Let us have another example. We have f of x equals to negative 5 plus 7x cubed minus 4x minus 2x squared. So, alamin natin yung iba't ibang characteristics niya. Para maging standard form yan, kailangan yung degree or yung exponents niya ay nakasulat from highest to lowest. So, we have f of x equals to 7x cubed minus 2x squared minus 4x minus 5. Then, kung alamin natin yung degree, that is the exponent of the highest exponent of the given polynomial function. So, that is 3. Leading coefficient, yung numerical coefficient ng variable na may highest exponent. So, that is 7. Constant term natin, yung term na walang variable. So, we have negative 5. The number of roots, kung ilan yung degree, ganun yung number of roots. So, that is 3. Then, if we will talk about the graph of a polynomial function, these are the characteristics. Okay, so the graph of any type of function must pass the vertical line test. So, para masabi siyang function, kailangan pumasa siya sa vertical line test. For example, we have here different kinds of graphs ng polynomial function. So, we have constant function. Pag nag-draw ka ng vertical line, isang point lang yung nadaanan. So, pasado. Linear function. Nag-draw ka ng vertical line, isang point lang nadaanan. Okay, pasado din siya bilang function. Quadratic function, vertical line. Okay, so pasado ulit dahil isang point lang yung nadaanan. Cubic function, mag-draw ka, vertical line, pasado pa din siya, isang point lang. Then, quartic function, mag-draw ka ng vertical line, so pasado pa din, isang point lang yung nadaanan ulit. Then, quintic function, okay, so still, this is a function dahil isang point lang yung nadaanan nung nag-draw tayo ng vertical line sa kanila. Okay, then, every polynomial function with real coefficients has the set of real numbers as its domain. Hence, it's continuous function. This means that the graph of a polynomial function has no breaks, holes, or gaps. So, kung makikita nyo yung mga examples natin dito, hindi siya naputol. Okay? Walang gap. Walang hole. Okay? So, lahat ng value sa x-axis ay madadaanan niya. So, that is the domain. It is the set of real numbers. Okay, and a polynomial equation of the nth degree cannot have more than n roots. This only means that the graph cannot intersect the x-axis more than n times. So, kung ilan yung degree, ganun din kadaming beses siya dadaan dun sa x-axis. So, constant function, 0. So, hindi siya dadaan sa x-axis. Linear function, we have 1. So, isang beses. Quadratic function, we have 2. So, posible na 2 beses. Cubic function, we have 3. So, posible na 3. Quartic function, 4. So, posible din na 4. And quintic function, 5. So, posible na 5 beses. Okay, then, a graph of a polynomial function has only smooth, rounded turns. A polynomial function cannot have a sharp turn. So, kung makikita nyo, mula quadratic hanggang quintic, and kung ano pa yung iba pang degree na higher than 5, lahat yan, kapag ka-graph nyo, yung turn o yung curve niya ay smooth. Hindi siya magkakaroon ng sharp curve or sharp turn. Okay? So, those are characteristics of the graph of a polynomial function. Let's have this example. Okay. So, we can also determine the value of the x-intercept using the zeros of a polynomial function. So, we have here this truth. It can be shown that for a polynomial function of degree n, the following statements are true. Okay, the first one, the function has at most n real zeros. So, kung ilan yung degree, ganun kadami yung zeros. The graph has at most n minus 1 turning points. So, magbawas ka lang ng 1 dun sa degree, ganun kadami yung turning points o yung liko na magagawa. So, halimbawa, cubic. So, that is 3. So, 3 minus 1. So, we have 2 turning points. So, 2 beses siya liliko. Okay, turning points or relative maximum or relative minimum are points at which the graph changes from increasing to decreasing or vice versa. So, yung turning points yung nag-determine kung yung graph natin ay magbabago ba from increasing up to decreasing or kung ano man. Okay? So, it depends on the value of the turning points. The zeros of a polynomial function are the values of x which make f of x equals 0. These values are the roots or solutions of the polynomial equation when y equals 0. And all real roots are the x-intercepts of the graph. Okay, so, yung roots o yung solutions or yung zeros ng polynomial function, they satisfy the condition for that given function. Okay? So, it makes the value of y equal to 0. Okay. Let's have this one. Find the zeros of p of x equals to 8x cubed minus 10x squared minus x plus 3. So, kapag nakita natin yung zeros na yon, if the zeros are real numbers, okay, then those real numbers can be the x-intercepts of the graph of the given polynomial function. So, alamin muna natin. Okay, so let us test some possible factors using factor theorem. So, we have 3 here. So, try natin ang x plus 3, x plus 1, tsaka x minus 1 since we have 3, 1, and negative 1. Okay, so we have p of x equals to 8x cubed minus 10x squared minus x plus 3 using x plus 3 and applying APE to make it x equals to negative 3. So, gamit yung negative 3, substitute lang natin using sa values ng x using the factor theorem. So, we have p of negative 3 equals to 8 times the cube of negative 3 minus 10 times the square of negative 3 minus negative 3 plus 3 equals to negative 300. So, negative 300 siya, hindi siya nag-0. So, hindi siya factor. So, hindi ito factor. Okay. Let's try another one. We have p of x equals to 8x cubed. Still, try naman natin yung x plus 1. Okay, applying APE. So, we have x equals to negative 1. Yun na may substitute natin. Okay, so we have p of negative 1 equals to 8 times the cube of negative 1 minus 10 times the square of negative 1 minus negative 10 plus 3. Okay, so the result is negative 14. Hindi pa din 0. So, hindi pa rin siya factor. Okay, then let's have the last one. Pag hindi pa rin to, so we will try another. Okay, so we have p of x equals to 8x cubed minus 10x squared minus x plus 3 using x minus 1. So apply APE. That's why we have x equals to 1. Substitute 1 to all the values, to all the variable x of the given function. So we have p of 1 equals to 8 times the cube of 1 minus 10 times the square of 1 minus 1 plus 3. So that is equal to 0. So meaning, Itong x minus 1 natin, that is one of the factors. So, isa na yan sa factors natin. Okay? Then, let us use synthetic division to determine other factors. Okay, bakit kailangan natin kunin yung factors? Sa factors natin makikita yung zeros. Okay. So, we have x minus 1. Okay, equating it to 0 and applying APE. So, we have x equals to 1. Then, gamitan natin ng synthetic division. Okay, so, bring down 8. 8 times 1, we have 8. Negative 10 times 8, we have negative 2. Negative 2 times 1, negative 2. Negative 1 plus negative 2, we have negative 3 times 1, negative 3. Okay, so we have no remainder. So, meron na tayong quadratic expression here, 8x squared minus 2x minus 3. Pwede na natin itong ma-applyan ng factor or factoring method. Okay, factors niya, we have 2x plus 1, tsaka 4x minus 3. Okay, so we just factored 8x squared minus 2x minus 3. And from that, we can now say that the factors of f of x equals to 8x cubed minus 10x squared minus x plus 3 are x minus 1, 2x plus 1, and 4x minus 3. Then mula dyan sa tatlong yan, if we apply APE here, so we will get 1. If we apply APE and MPE here, we will get negative 1/2. Then for 4x minus 3, we will get 3/4. So yung 1, negative 1/2, tsaka 3/4 na yan, those are the zeros. And they are also the x-intercepts of the given function. Since lahat yan ay real zeros, mga real numbers sila. So, this is our graph. Ito yung magiging graph niya. So, if we graph that, ito yung magiging itsura niya. Since cubic yan, so it has 2 turns. Okay, then, ang x-intercepts niya, we have 0, negative 1/2, 0, 3/4, and 0, 1. So, yung negative 1/2, 3/4, tsaka yung 1, those are the zeros. Okay? Then, there are also multiplicities of zeros. May mga pagkakataon na yung zeros natin, pwedeng madoble, maulit. Okay? Or, hindi lang madoble. Minsan 3 times or there are multiple times na lilitaw sila. That is the multiplicities of zeros. So, the multiplicity of a zero is the number of times the real root of a polynomial functions results in. Suppose R is a zero of even multiplicity. Then the graph touches the x-axis that R and bounces at R or is tangent to point R0. Okay? Suppose R is a zero of odd multiplicity, then the graph crosses the x-axis at R, regardless of whether a multiplicity is even or odd. The graph tends to flatten out near zeros with a multiplicity greater than 1. So, ito, para maging mas malinaw. So, this is an example of a graph of f of x equals to x squared multiplied to the square of x minus 2. Okay, so, kung titingnan natin, obvious dito sa format na to, kung ano yung zeros niya, we have 0, tsaka dalawang 2, kasi meron tayong x minus 2 raised to 2. Okay, so, 2 multiplicity of 2 yun. So, instead na, dahil pag minultiply mo dito, magiging cube yan. So, instead na ang lumitaw dyan ay tatlong x-intercept dahil multiplicity of 2 yung 2 natin. So, dalawa lang yung x-intercept na lilitaw. Okay, so we have 0. Ito yon yung kanina, yung isang zeros niya. Then, yung 2. Okay, so dalawang beses. Hindi lang syempre kita dito sa graph, pero dalawang beses yan. Nag-bounce yan. Dumaan, bumalik. Okay, so we have that. Pwede ding maging multiplicity of 3. Depende yon sa maging given na polynomial equation. Okay? As long as there are multiple times na lilitaw yung zeros na yon. So, ganun kadami yung maging multiplicities niya. Okay, and these are the different behaviors of the graph of a polynomial function. So, for example, we have the function f of x equals to x squared. So, that is a quadratic function. If the leading coefficient is greater than 0, meaning positive siya, and the degree is even, Okay? Even yung degree. Okay? So, square nga. So, even yan. The graph will be a parabola. Okay? So, the left hand and the right hand, kaliwa at kanan niya, both are rising. So, pataas pareho. It opens upward. Okay? Kung maging f of x equals to negative x square, then yung leading coefficient naman natin less than 0, meaning negative. So, ang degree pa rin naman niya ay even kasi square nga. So, pababa naman yung graph natin. Okay? The parabola is going downward. Then, yung left and right hand nung graph, they are both falling in action. So, pababa pareho. Another example, if we have f of x equals to x cubed, then our leading coefficient is greater than 0. Since cube yan, the degree is odd. Okay, this is our curve. That is how the graph will curve out. Okay? Then, kung odd siya, tapos greater than 0 or positive yung leading coefficient natin, the left hand, yung arrow sa kaliwa, that is going down or falling siya, then the right hand will rise up. Okay? Then, kapag ka naman naging f of x equals to negative x cubed, wherein our leading coefficient is less than 0, so negative nga siya, add pa din naman ang degree, add number pa rin kasi 3. Yung rising action natin, or yung left hand natin, magiging rising na. Okay, then the right hand natin, it will be falling. Okay, so these are the behaviors or some example of behaviors for the graph of polynomial function. Okay, and that's all for now for our discussion about polynomial function. Kung meron pa kayong tanong or clarifications na gustong linawin, you can write down your comments below para sa susunod na discussion ay mabigyan natin ng linaw. Okay? And thank you for watching. Always keep safe.